Hey guys, alright, it's the beginning of the week, and yeah, a lot of things have happened already. Yeah, like I always do, I try to start off strong. Last week was pretty eventful, a lot of stuff happened, not just in the hobby but also personally, and hobby wise, we've had a pretty big week. We had Wormerfest. I covered a bunch of stuff on my little news vids. And yeah, it's looking pretty exciting for the next few months. We've got Gravelords, Soulblight Gravelords coming, pre-orders this weekend. Well, by the time this video comes out, they'll have already started. And yeah, it looks like the countdown for the new edition for AOS is like the end of the month. So hopefully there's enough of those limited edition boxes to go around. Hopefully everyone can get their hands on one. I hope they've learnt from their previous boxes and they make enough so that there's enough to go around, because I think everyone would want to have it, considering how well they've redesigned those Stormcast proportionally and everything, the design, which is just great. They must realize they're going to be getting a lot of people jumping across to that, and whatever the new faction is inside, I'm sure they're really cool as well, so people will jump on board for that too. So it makes sense that you would up your ante and try to deliver a bit of a larger number for that one. But anyway, that's we don't know what they're going to do. They'll do whatever they think is correct. But yeah, looking pretty exciting. So in terms of me, as you can see on the right there, the new Stormcast have made an impression on me. Now, originally, like these ones, I do like them, but they weren't quite doing it for me as well. And now with the new way that they've designed them, as I just said, those proportions are slightly better. And just overall, mostly it comes down to the shoulder pads. I was always of the opinion, looking at these older ones, that they should have gone for a more Sister of Battle type of shape, and it looks like that's exactly like Sister of Battle 40k, their shoulder pads. It looks like they've basically gone for that. It's like somewhere between a Space Marine shoulder pad and a Sister of Battle shoulder pad. It's like got that little bit of a hook, that sort of or concave curve in it, and then it loops around, and a little bit bigger and a bit lower down on the arm. So I feel like that's a much better design shape overall, and suits them better. And in fact, as I've said when we were in those news vids, I think they should go the whole hog and actually make them a little bigger, and bring them down to the elbow like the Space Marine shoulder pad does, and even bulk out the apex of the round part of the shoulder pad a little bit more, so they have much broader shoulders. Even if they do that for the male ones, and then the female torsos and the female sculpts keep with the slightly more slender version, just because your classic proportions, that sort of ancient Greek Roman kind of look, that you want that inverted triangle. That's like for bodybuilding as well, right? So you want to have a broad shoulder and then tapering down into a tapered waist. And at the moment, they have very powerful legs and a very powerful torso in the center, but their shoulders aren't quite as broad. At least on the photos, it doesn't look quite as broad. So it's sort of creating a more sort of standard triangle shape, where it's a bit pointed at the top. So what you want is that invert. So you want to get it a bit broader at the top, so you've got an even balance between the shoulders and the legs. And I think then you'd have your classic Space Marine proportions like these are. If you have a look, they've got an equal distribution of weight at the top and at the bottom, and tapering in the center. So that's the shapes are well designed on these Primaris specifically. The Primaris are great models because of that fact. They're proportionally better in their shape language, and that classic idea of an inverted triangle is much more present. And I think that's what they need for those ones. I wouldn't be surprised another edition or two time that you'll see a further design tweak on those shoulder pads to get them exactly right. Even if they stick with the way they are now, but just a little bit longer, like down to the elbow, just like a Space Marine shoulder pad is, I think you'd find that it'd be bang on. But they're very close. Like overall, they're beautiful. So I'm definitely doing it. And what I'm going to do is tackle it as a gaming army, like I've done for my Marines, if you've seen any past hobby vlogs. And I've been playing around with that Rune Lord brass, and they're going to be like a brassy style with black cloaks and so on. I'm just working out what other secondary color I want. I think it's going to be like a scarlet red or something like that. And yeah, I've been playing with my my techniques. If you've been watching any of my tutorials, I like to put a lot of different colored washes and glazes into the metals. So I've been working with purples and blues, trying to get that sort of discolorations, maybe where heat has been applied, you know what I mean, and getting that look. And I think it's coming out pretty cool and very, very quick. So I'll definitely do a tutorial on this once I've finalized the design. But yeah, you'll be able to pump out an army of this very, very fast. And I think it's a little bit nicer than the straight up gold. I think this gives a bit better look. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to mucking around with this. It's going to be really, really cool. Yeah, very excited. And yeah, and so I had a talk this week on that exact topic. Yeah, I discussed the value of having a gaming army or a gaming painted standard army that you use, as well as your passion projects and your more more devoted kind of high-end kind of paint job stuff. You have your other army there that you can game with more regularly with painted models, and I think that there's a great value in that. So that'll be mine for fantasy, and the Flesh Eater Courts and the new Death stuff with the Grave Lords coming. That'll be more, and obviously the Black Kings will be the slower going painted armies that I do a bit in a smaller, slower progression, but that'll give me something fun that I can just get on the table quickly and still be happy with the result, right? You need the thing with speed techniques or things like that is that you don't want to use really fast techniques, because you're going to end up not liking the finished result. They've got to come close to what you would normally paint. Like if we put these together, the paint job needs to be of a in the ballpark of where you would normally paint. If I just really rush this, it's going to be nothing like my other models. And so when I look at it, every time you look at it, you're just going to want to like not use it, right? And that's what I've found in the past when I've done like 24-hour challenges and stuff like that. I often find those armies are the ones that I just never use, and I just end up doing something else, because they're fun to do, but yeah, I think a slightly slower, more focused approach, but still quicker than doing something like that. The happy middle ground, I think that's the best place to be for like your gaming army. And obviously picking one that is highly supported. And if this stuff's anything to go by, like the new stuff, then their book should be pretty competitive, because they need it to be. I've talked about this in the news vid this week as well, is that really they want you playing them. They need to be like a Space Marine army, where they're like the poster child of the brand, because that keeps it afloat. We don't want to see another retcon or whatever where they just completely write off fantasy again and relaunch it again. Now they've done it once, they could do it again. Now that they know that that's possible, they might think of doing that again if it's not performing. And what they really need is an iconic design, an iconic army that really just sells the whole idea, the lore, everything about it needs to be embodied in those models. And I think they're very close. If we look at like the progression of Space Marines over the years from the 80s all the way through, it's got there by the end. Once we get to Primaris, we have a really distilling design aesthetic there that really speaks to the look of 40k and what it's all about. And that's where I think they're on a good track with their current design for the Stormcast. I think that will give them that solid base to keep that game afloat, because that's what you need. That's what keeps 40k afloat. You know what I mean? Space Marines keep it afloat. It keeps it going, keeps it making it what it is. And it makes sense to have a go at them and play with them, because that type of elite army is a lot of fun to play with. You don't need as many models. You can paint them fast, and you notice they've removed a lot of the cloaks so that it's even quicker to paint, which will be even faster than this test model. It'll be just like doing these guys. That one color thing, and with a few secondaries, and you're totally ready to go. So that's awesome. I'm really happy to see that they're moving in that direction, because that's that's what I would pick. If my brand was getting that big and I needed to make decisions like that, I would definitely make the same choices, because it makes total sense, especially for new people coming in, and a younger audience, which is who they're marketing it to. It needs to be accessible to them, and all us old guys, we can deal. we've got our money, we've got our time, we've got whatever we're doing, we're mature enough to figure it out for ourselves and take the hobby how we like it. We have freedom of choice, we're adults. Whereas a kid is beholden to their parents, to their, their weekly allowance or their whatever they have, if the little part-time job or something, or whatever kind of little, or birthdays or Christmases, whatever they're getting their hobby from, presents and whatever. It's not really, they don't really have a lot of choice. They're sort of just happy to get whatever they get. And so you want whatever they get to be something cool and fun and, enjoyable to muck around with. And so, yeah, I feel like they're on the right track there, for sure. All right, so I'll stop ranting about all that stuff, but it's definitely an awesome thing to see. I think they're really hitting their strides, and it looks like the new system is drawing heavily from 40k in terms of just some of the structure and some of the way that they're designing the rules in. Looks like it's moving towards that, and I think that's really good because the current edition of 40k is the best they've ever made. It's very, very good. The codexes are great. I know people are a bit up in arms about Drakari or whatever, power creep or whatever, but I don't believe that it is. I think once we see the broad spectrum of the army books, I don't think that's the case at all. I think every single one that they've brought out has been extremely well made. There's a few that haven't got as much love, obviously, but overall I think every book is a vast improvement on previous editions and much better made and structured. And I think what that really comes down to is the fact that I've heard other people talk about this that were testers, that they talk about on their videos and stuff, not specific like breaking their NDAs or whatever, but like alluding to the fact that they that the army books were all being play tested at once. So it wasn't like they had them all, not all done, but at least they were using some of the rules for every army before they released the edition. Now that's a very, very unique thing. I don't think they've ever done that before. I think that's a first. And so that means that at least some of the core structures of each of the armies have at least seen a bit of play testing before the release of the rules, and then that should help stop that power creep. And I think that's really important. And you can see it in these books. They're all good. Every single one that's coming is strong, but most importantly, most of the units inside the army are playable. There's very little dud units in the new books. They all kind of have a place, and you can find a use for them. Maybe not all in like ultra competitive, but for competitive casual games, pretty much everything is viable, and that's a really great thing to see. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of that kind of experience that they're going through with 40k, and that filters across to AOS and gives those guys that are playtesting that and fine-tuning all the rules in the army books, that they take a bit of that on board, because it's there's lessons to be learnt there, right? And so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I like the addition of the sort of the generic battle battalions and stuff. I think that's better. It's like detachments for 40k. Much easier to understand, much easier to design and build your army. I find all of the sort of specialized stuff in the books really convoluted and difficult to make an army list from. I really don't know what I'm looking at, half the time. And they'll still be there for narrative play and everything, but like I like the match players moving to a more a simpler way of actually just designing your army. I think that's really good. It makes for a better game, I think. So anyway, let's get on to my hobby stuff that we're doing in front of me here. So let's have another little look. So yeah, this is the one, and yeah, that brass, that Rune Lord brass, that spray can. Yeah, this was so fast. I've gotten to this point in like, I don't know, it's so quick. So it's gonna be great, especially with the new models, and they won't have any robes on them. It's gonna be so fast to paint these, a lot of fun. So I'll probably go for like a grey base or something like that, some sort of ash based, with some like staining and stuff in there. I think that should be really cool. And then we got, the other really nice thing is we got a little bit further on this guy. So as of this video, he should be already out, the next tutorial, next part of it, and we did all the medals. So I went through and did all those brassy medals with all the colors in it. I think it came out pretty cool, so very happy with that. And my little print there is still waiting patiently. I've got some corpse power coming, so from Army Painter, so hopefully I'll be able to get that and then finish off his skin later in the week. And then I've been working on my sergeants for my little gaming army here for Space Marines. So I showed these a long time ago. but I'm back at it, and I'm going to start, trying to finish some of these off, just because I have a little window there to do a little bit before I've got to move on to other projects. So yeah, that's cool. And yeah, the Lord of Contagion will get some paint on him once that Corpse Pale paint has come in, because that's part of the blend for doing his armor. So I'm hoping I can get him out of the way as well. But yeah, great start to the week. Let's hope it continues, I guess. All right, end of the week time. So yeah, bit of stuff's happened. It's been a busy week. I got a lot of sculpting done, which I can't show here, but if you're interested, just head over to Instagram at Adrian Kennard, and you'll see it there. I've been getting back into developing more characters for Blighter Gods, so that's pretty cool, which is what this thing is from. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. It's been good getting back into the swing of things, and I'm doing a bit more sculpting. Yeah, pretty happy with that. So yeah, I haven't done as much painting, but I've managed to get most of the colors down on this little guy. So he's coming along nice. I'll finish him off over the weekend. You'll see the finished one next week. But yeah, he'll be coming out for June. You'll be able to download him from Blighter God's website, which is the links in the down there. But yeah, really happy with this. Really loving. So I managed to get more of the Corpse Pale color that I love so much. So I got like 4 pots of this. So I'm thinking of doing on my little hobby tips videos, I'm thinking of doing a little segment on this, because this is probably my favorite, I guess, skin tone color, or at least color for doing monsters, creatures, anything that's not like just standard human. This color's really amazing. And with the addition of a little bit of this purple here, these two together are just a great mix. But yeah, I think I might have a bit of a chat about that for this next coming one next week, because this is really cool, and I use it on like so much stuff. We've used it on the pale armor here. I use it on my Death Guard there for the armor as well. It's in the blue highlights. It's such a good color. So I think I might yeah, have to have a bit of a rant about that next week. But yeah, otherwise everything's good. I managed to do a little quick tutorial on how to use contrast on armor, which is cool. So that should have come out this week. You can see it on the channel. And what else? Oh, and then I tested some red contrast on this. It's a bit hard to see on this camera, but there's like a red tinge to the black armor there on the shield and the shoulder pad. And yeah, I don't know, I still want to experiment. So I think what I'd like is probably to do the highlights first. So I did it in a gray, like the base there, but I think that it's probably better to do it in like a bone color, a cream color, and then that red contrast will probably go a little better, I think, over that. So I'm going to try it again and just see if I can get a better highlight, just because it seems to come off a little brownish, and I sort of want it to be more of a red to orange highlight. So yeah, we'll play around with that a bit more and see if I can get it to work. Otherwise I might just choose a different color for the black. And blues and greens work really well, so I might end up just doing that. But I'm liking how it's coming. I'll finish it off, and we'll see the finished result and see whether that's going to be a good viable color scheme. But it should be. It works really well on on the Space Marines. So it's basically a modified version of what I'm doing on these, and it just comes out so fast, so easy. So yeah, I'm looking for that for the Stormcast, so I can have a nice little gaming army that doesn't take me very long. So yeah, but that's pretty much it. I've got like a fly in the in the camera, sorry about that. Anyway, so yeah, everything's looking good. But yeah, I won't be able to do any more, I don't think. No more filming over the weekend. It's going to be pretty busy. So yeah, this will have to be the last installment. But I hope everyone else is doing good hobby stuff this week and excited for new AOS stuff that's coming out. I know I am. It should be a really fun few months coming up. All the new Soulblight stuff has been dropping, like new release information and all that kind of stuff, and the models looking really cool. So I can't wait for that. I think that should be, by the time this video goes up, should already be out, I think. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, some interesting things in there. But otherwise, yeah, I guess that's it. Have a great day, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, all that kind of stuff. It really helps me out. But otherwise, I'll catch you on the next one.